All right, guys. Hey. All right, so we are back. Okay. Um, and we are moving on to section 5-5 about graphing inequalities in two variables. So hopefully you remember graphing y equals mx plus b. This is the exact same thing, only it has an inequality instead. Okay. So the first, I gave you a couple steps up at the top. First thing you always want to do is solve the inequality so that the y is on the left side. So in case you forgot the left side, um, the left side is okay. So let's try this first one here. So we're gonna take that. I'm gonna write it over here, just so we have a little bit more to solve it. All right, so there we go. So we're going to do the first step, right? We want to get y on the left side. To get y on the left side, that means the x has to go to the right side. So you take whatever the x is and you're going to make it the opposite. So this one says 3x and it's a positive 3x. So the opposite of positive 3x should be negative x. We're going to that out negative x. Okay. Let's see. This has an x. This doesn't have an x. Can't subtract them, so we're just gonna write it all together. Okay. And put that negative 2y, the inequality. I like you're trying to make it look like y equals mx plus b. That's kind of the goal here. So I'm gonna put my x first, 3x, and the 8 is a positive 8, so it's gonna. So I just kind of read a little bit to make it easier for us at the end. All right, now again, we want to get it so that it looks like y equals mx plus b. So there can't be a number in front of the y. So right now we have a negative 2. So you have to get rid of the negative 2. Hopefully you know that when there's a number in front of a letter like this, that means it's multiplying. And you have to do the opposite. So instead of multiplying by negative 2, we're going to divide by negative 2. And you're going to divide everything by negative 2. So I like to draw a line under every single number and divide by that number. And that helps you kind of keep track of what you have or have not already divided. Okay. So the y isn't going to change. And let's see what inequality rules. Okay. So we just divided by a negative number. So like there was a negative number in front of that y. What? Remember the rule? Do you remember it? It's kind of an important one. You need to know it. Okay. You got to take that inequality sign and instead of being a less than, we're going to have to flip it to be a greater than. And that is the rule whenever the number in front of your variable that you're working with is a negative. So if this was like, say this was like y divided by negative 2, you would still flip it, right? As long as the number with the variable is a negative, you have to flip the inequality. So flip it around. Okay. And let's see. All right, moving on. Let's see. 2 negatives make a positive. So it's just going to be x. 8 divided by negative 2. 4. Okay. And there you go. That's step 1. Okay. So, for after step 1, now you're actually going to have to take this inequality that we just found, and now we're going to graph it. And again, here's your big hint. Graph it just like y equals mx plus b. Here's your y, here's your m, here's your b. Okay? So hopefully you remember from y equals mx plus b. Hopefully you remember that b is where you begin. Okay, it's your y-intercept. So on your graph, we need to find negative 4 on the y-axis. And again, hopefully you remember, this is the y, this is the x. So I need negative 4. 1, 2. Okay, there's my point. And then we have the 3/2. Remember, that's your m value. That's your slope. So for this, we have 3/2. So remember for slope, it's rise over run. So here's kind of like the trick when it's a fraction. Whatever your top number is, that's how far up you're going to go. The bottom number, that's how far to the right you're going to go. So start off, at this point, we're going to go up 3 over 2, up 3 over, up 3, 2. And you just keep going. Up 3, right 2, 3, wait, 3, right 2, 3, okay. That one doesn't fit. So there you go. That's it. Okay. All right. Now, this is where it gets tricky for inequalities, for graphing them. Okay. Because there are two things that you're going to add into this. Okay. There's stuff about the line and there's stuff about the shading. Okay. And it's specific for inequalities, just like how we did it on the number line. So remember like the open dot, closed dot thing and how you would shade on the number line to the left or the right? Same type of thing here. Okay. So for the line, what you're going to do is whenever you have an inequality that is just the less than or a greater than symbol, you're going to give it a dashed line, just like that. So this is kind of like the same thing as an open dot, okay, that we did on number line. Now, whenever you have a less than or equal to, or a greater than or equal to, you're going to give it a solid line. That would be the same as like a closed dot. Okay, that's the difference there. So you can just use your ID if you have your ID, or if you happen to have like a little ruler. I have a protractor, so I'm gonna use that because, you know, math teacher, what I got. Okay, you can even just use like the side of your notebook or the side of your laptop. It works the exact same as like a ruler. Okay, we're gonna connect it. Let's see, this is the sign we had. We have no lines, so we're gonna put dashes. That's gonna be our line. So line it up and just do your best. You're just making a dash line. Don't look like that. And then you just put arrows on the ends of it because it's a line. Lines go forever. Okay. All right, that's how you do the line. See, not bad so far. We're doing good. Okay. All right, now the next part is for shading. Okay, the easiest way to figure out the shading, honestly, plug in a point. Okay, so for shading, you're going to pick a test point. So for shading, you're going to pick a test point. If it works, you're going to shade that side of that line. If it doesn't work, don't shade that part of the line. Very simple. Okay? So let me show you what I mean here. So you can pick any point you want. Honestly, the easiest point to use, side note, you cannot use a point on your line. You cannot do that. It is not allowed. Don't do it. Otherwise, you ain't gonna get the right thing. Okay? You have to pick something not on your line. Okay? Now, my suggestion, pick easy numbers that you know. Like pick a point like 1, 1. That's easy. Or pick 0, 0. 0 is easy. Y'all know how to multiply by 0, or at least you better. Okay? Don't try to do something like -4 and 4. Okay? That's just harder. You're making it harder on yourself to try to figure it out. So pick something easy. Be nice to yourself for once. Okay? Because I'm harsh on myself. I know you're harsh on yourself probably. So just make life easy. All right, so I'm gonna use 0, 0 just because 0 is easy. So if I'm gonna use like 0, 0, so let me use this point right here. I'm gonna plug it into this up here. Let's see, what's 0 times 3? 0. Okay, what's 0 times 2? 0. What's 0 minus 0? 0. Okay, and then you need to ask yourself, is 0 less than 8? Less than 8? Does that work? Yeah, it works. Okay. Now, if you wanted to be super extra thorough, you could pick a second point and you can use another point and see if you're still right. So what if I pick like 1, 1, right? That would be 3 times 1 is 3. right? And then I need 2 times 1, which is 2, and then I have 3 minus 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Hey, look at that. I'm even holding up 1, didn't you know? Alright, so then when we get 1, is 1 less than 8? Hopefully you said yes. Okay, so it is. So we found 2 points that work for this inequality. Okay, so that means that any number on this side of the line is gonna work. And that's how you do the shading. Okay, that's all you gotta do. Okay, so we're gonna add, I'm gonna add a little bit up here. So pick a test point. If it works, good. If it doesn't, the other side. Up close and do me writing better up here when I can. The other side. That's all you gotta do. Okay, so now we're gonna repeat this process 4 more times. We got this. Okay, so let's do it again. Alright, next one. Let's see. Now we have 3x plus 4y is less than or equal to 0. So let's see what we get. Alright. So again, we're gonna take this and we're gonna rewrite it over here so that we can actually do the work. Because you know. Ooh, I am off. There you go. Sweet. Alright. So again, in case you forgot, you need to solve the inequality so that the y is on the left side. So if I want to solve it so that the y is on the left side, you have to move the x over, okay? Because the y is already on the left side, but we got to get everything else here. So it is a positive 3x. So you're going to do the opposite, which would be negative x. Subtract 3x, subtract x. 4y less than or equal to a negative 3x. It's 0 minus 3x. Do you really need to put the 0? We don't need that. Okay. Just put the negative 3x. Okay. If it makes you feel better on the inside, feel free. Put the plus 0. It's not going to hurt you. It's just Miss Howell is lazy sometimes. So like if I don't have to write something, I ain't going to. All right. Now, next part. You see that 4y? We got a 4 in front of it. So what are the 4 and the y? What are they doing? Hopefully you told yourself, hey, they're multiplying. If you're not sure, go through this in your head every time. Is there a plus sign in between the 4 and the y? Nope, so it's not that. Is there a minus sign in between the 4 and the y? Nope, not that. Is there a division sign in between the 4 and the y? Nope. So the only thing left is multiplying. So, but remember, we got to do the opposite to get rid of it. So instead of multiplying by 4, we're going to divide by 4. Nice. Okay. We're going to divide by 4. Divide by 4. Y. Let's see. Ooh, over here, we had a negative number and we had to flip our inequality. Do we have that here? Is that 4 negative? No. Hopefully you said no. So we don't got to flip nothing. Whoop, whoop. So we're going to have y is less than or equal to a negative 3/4 x. And remember, if you wanted to put that plus 0, feel free. Go ahead. You put that plus 0. Because if you have the 0 and you divide it by 4, is 0 divided by 4 really going to change anything? No, not really. All right, so we made it look like y equals mx plus b. So we did step 1, we did step 2. Now we're on to step 3. So step 3, or no. Step 2, we still have to graph it. Huh? Getting ahead of myself. I thought it said make it look like y. Let's rewind. Oop. We're going to go and graph it now. Okay? So, same thing as what we went through over here. We're using y equals mx plus b. Remember, you always use the b to begin. Okay? So, did we have a number that we were adding there? Because I don't have a number on my paper. See, look, they ain't nothing there. But what did I tell you we didn't have to write? But some of you, I know you did, right? You could have that plus 0 right there. Okay. So plus 0, that's our b value. So we're actually going to start at 0, 0 today. Woo woo. All right, and then we have our slope that says -3/4. All right, so remember, for that -3/4, that is your rise over run. So -3/4. So in case you forgot, okay, whenever we got a fraction like this, the top number is how much you're going to go like up or down. The bottom number, that's how far you go to the right. And the bottom number is always to the right. Always. Always go right. Right is right, left is wrong. Okay? Remember that. Helpful. Okay. Now, because that top number is a -3, we're not going to go up this time. Actually, we're going to go down 3 and right 4. Okay? So that's how we're going to move. So let's try it. We're going to go down 1, 2, 3 and right 1, 4. So as you can see, I can only fit one of those on my paper. So here's a little trick. If you need more dots and you can't go like to the right anymore, so go back to your y-intercept, your 0, 0 for this one. And instead of going down 3, right 4, you're going to do the exact opposite. Go up 3, left 4. Okay, so up 1, 2, 3, left 1, 2, 3. There you go. All right, now we need a line. Okay, so take your ID, ruler, notebook, whatever you got. Let's see. We got a line underneath our inequality. What does that mean if it has a line underneath it? What kind of line should we have? Solid or dash? Solid or dash? Hopefully you pick solid. So this one's a little bit easier to draw because we just draw a line. You don't have to worry about doing the dashes in between it. So there you go. Looks like that. Okay. All right, now the hard part. Now the hard part is shading. Okay, we gotta figure out which way we need to shade. So again, my suggestion: pick easy numbers. I mean it. It'll make your life so much easier. Okay, if you can pick numbers that you know. Okay? So our graph went through 0, 0, so I can't use that one, but we still have like 1, 1 or 2, 2. Okay, I'm gonna be a little bit fancy this time. I'm gonna use 2, 2, see if it works. Let's see, let's try 2, 2 and see what we get. So let's see, what is 2 times 3, everybody? Hopefully you said 6. And then I need 2 times 4, what's that? Hopefully you said 8. Okay, so 6 plus 8, that's what? 14? I think 14. Yeah, you gotta give me some credit here. It's like late at night and I'm recording this and my brain is like dead. But I'm pretty sure it's 14. Yeah, it's gonna be 7 and 7. 14. And then we get less than or equal to 0. Is 14 less than 0? I don't think that's right. 14 is not less than 0. Okay, so this one is not true. So if this point doesn't work, 2, 2 don't work, that means none of these points over here are going to work. Okay, which means you're going to shade the other side of your line. Okay, but Miss Howell, how do I know if it works? Pick a point on that side. It works. Okay, let's try, we'll do something easy. How about like -2 and -2? Ooh, let's try that. Let's see. So if I did, I'm gonna erase this. Let's see, what if I picked -2 and -2. Let's see. What's 3 times -2? Hopefully you said -6. Let's see. And then 4 times -2. Hopefully you said -8. Less than or equal to 0. All right. -6 minus 8. What's that? Okay. So if you're not sure, right, and you don't have a calculator, ask yourself, do those numbers have the same signs? Hopefully you said yes, because the 6 is negative and the 8 is negative. Because they both have like negative signs with them, that means you're actually going to add them together and it makes a bigger negative. Okay? So if I have 6 negatives over here and 8 negatives over here together, I'm going to put them together and I'm going to make -14. Okay? So now that we have -14, tell me, is -14 less than or equal to 0? Does that work? Okay, let's see. Think about it if you would put it on the number line, right? It's like here's 0. This might be backwards on the screen. Hopefully it's going to the left. Right? It should be that. So here's 0. We're going backwards to get to -14. So it would be less than. So that works. That's how I know that side is right. Okay? Questions about that one? Hopefully not. Okay. If you do have a question, remember you can comment on the, or actually no. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can comment on the video. If you're not watching it on YouTube and you're watching it from Focus, then you can just email me a question. So you should be able to click on my name on Focus and send me email that way if you're stuck on something. Or remember, I have tutoring on Tuesdays. Okay, so you can do that. Let's see. I'm gonna go take a drink and I'll be right back. All right. So it's ginger ale, in case you're curious. My throat always gets a little. Takes forever. All right. So let's try these guys. And we're going to do the exact same thing. Okay, so remember, step 1, you need to make this so that the y is on the left side. So let's do that. Again, I'm going to just over here so you have a little bit more room. All right. Oh, this is an easy one. Wow. All right, they gave you an x. They gave you 2x, right? So ask yourself, is the 2 positive or negative? Both of you said positive. Opposite. 2x. Those cancel. You're going to get y less than, because the y is a positive, we don't have to flip it this time. And again, I'm going to put this in like y equals mx plus b order. So I'm going to put -2x, then the -4. Okay. Is there anything else we got to do? Ask yourself, if you're not sure, is the y all by itself? Like, is there anything in front of the y? You said no. You're done with that one. Okay. Now we can move on to graphing. Okay. So let's try graphing it. So again, remember we tried to make this look like y equals mx plus b. And remember, the b is where you begin. And yes, I'm going to say that every time until it gets ingrained in your brain. Okay, because it works. Okay, so we're going to begin on the y-axis at -4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, awesome sauce. All right, now let's try that -2x. Okay, that is your m value or your slope, if you will. Okay, remember, for all of these, so far the last two, we have, for this one we had a fraction, and this one we had a fraction. So when you look at this one, do we have a fraction this time? No, we don't have a fraction, but you can make it a fraction. Okay, so in case you're not sure or you forgot, whatever, all you gotta do is take that -2 and we're gonna put it over a 1. That's it. Okay. Now remember, I told you that fractions for slope, it has to be a rise over run. So remember that top number is how much you go up or down. And then the bottom number is how far you go to the right. Okay. So let's try it. On the top, we have a -2. So because it's a negative, instead of going up, you're actually going to go down 2. And then remember, you always go right. So remember, right's right, left's wrong. So if we look, go down 2, no. Oh wait, we can't fit that. So what did we do last time when we couldn't fit it on the graph? We're just going to go the opposite way. So instead of going down 2, right 1, we're going to go opposite. We're going to go up 2, left 1. See? Still works. Still good. No worries. Up 2, left 1, 2, left 1, 2, 2. Okay. All right, there you go. There's all your dots. Now, we need the line. Okay. So ask yourself, is there a line underneath your inequality? Is it less than, greater than, or is it one of the equal to's? Hopefully you said it's just a less than symbol, which means we're going to put a dashy line. Okay. There you go. All right. Now we need to pick a point, a test point. Okay. So again, pick easy numbers. Nice to yourself for once. Okay. Remember, Miss Howell's favorite easy numbers are 0, 0, because you don't have to do like any math. Perfect. Awesome. Love that. Okay. So let's try 0, 0. So when you do 0 times 2, 0 times 2, 0. Good job. And then plus y. Hey, what was y? Oh yeah, the 0 is right there. So 0 plus 0. So 0 plus 0. What is 0 plus 0? Oh, hey, 0 plus 0 is still 0. I know you're shocked. But... All right, so we got 0 is less than -4. Make sense? Is 0 smaller than -4? Is 0 smaller than -4? Hopefully you said no. Okay, it's not. 0 is definitely bigger than -4. So we're not going to shade on this side of the line because this didn't work. Okay, we're actually going to shade over on this side of the line. Remember, you shade on the side that it works for. So if it doesn't work on this one, shade that one. Okay, and again, you can test it if you want to. So let's see, you could use a point like -3, -3. See if that works. Let's see. -3, -3. You plugged it in, you should get something like -6 minus 3 is less than -4, or -9 is less than -4, which that works. So like for this test point part, a lot of you can do that math in your head, which is totally fine. Feel free. You don't have to write it down. I'm just writing it down so that you guys can see what it looks like since you have. So that's what that's there for. Oh no, vector fell down. Got it. Good. All right. We're halfway done. Woo-hoo. All right, and I promise you the last one is easy. All right, so let's take a look. Now we have x minus 2y is greater than -4. So again, we're going to take this, bring it over here. A little more room. And we're going to start solving that. So step 1, okay? So solving this, okay? We have an x right there, but we got to get rid of it. Because remember, we're trying to get the y all by itself on the left side. So instead of a positive x, we're going to put a Excuse you. Are you okay over there? My cat's over there. You just sleeping? I think she's snoring. Anyway, moving on. Right, now we have, let's see, again, I'm going to try to make this look like y equals mx plus b, so I'm going to put my x first. Because you can't subtract a number and a letter. It don't work. I'm going to write it down. All right, next step. We have a -2 in front of our y. Get rid of it. So let's see. Again, ask yourself, what are the -2 and the y? What are they doing? Are they adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing together? Hopefully you said multiplying, because we need the opposite of that, which is dividing. And again, I write it underneath all of them, so I know which ones I need to divide, and it helps you just kind of keep track of which ones you did or didn't. A y. And hopefully you have like an alarm bell flashing in your brain, like beep, 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 danger, danger. Okay, that was a -2 that we divided by. What happens when your variable has a negative number in front of it for the inequality? What happens? Go back. Hopefully you are telling yourself, hey, I should flip my inequality. Because that's what you should be doing here. So instead of a greater than, we're going to change it to be a less than. Sad face. All right, and then we're going to think about this. Let's see, we have a negative. If you don't know, that's a -1. So -1 divided by -2. Two negatives make a positive, so we're just going to have a half x. -4 divided by -2. Again, two negatives make a negative. And hopefully all of you know 4 divided by 2. It's 2. Pretty sure you all did. Because I think there's at least like half of you that had me. So I think you should. All right. So now we got that. Step 1 is done. Now I gotta do step 2. And now we gotta take that and we're gonna graph it on that beautiful graph that I gave you. You're welcome for that. Okay. So again, this looks like y equals mx plus b, and you begin with the b value. We're gonna begin. Let's see, here's 0. We're gonna add 2, so boop boop 2. Put a dot there. There you go. All right, next up we have our m value, which is the slope, remember. So, oh, and it's a fraction this time, yay. And let's see, it's a positive fraction. So because it's positive, remember for slope, it's rise over run. The rise is how far you go up, down. And then the run is how far you go to the right. It's backwards on the camera. So, right? I think. Anyway, so we're going to go up 1, right 2. So again, up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. Up 1. It doesn't fit that way. So now we can go back to where we started at 2 on the y-axis. I mean, you can just go backwards. You can go left 2, down 1. Or down 1, left 2, down 1. And until you can't fit anymore. And then we need the line. Dun, dun, dun. So for our line, again, look at your inequality. What type of inequality do you have? Does it have that extra little line under the to be equal to? Hopefully you said no. Okay. So we're just going to make this a big old dashy line. Bunch of little dashes. Okay. Arrows on it. You know, it's a line. Lines get arrows. Okay, now we're going to do the shading part. So let's see for my shading. Oh, let's see. They didn't use 0, 0. I'm going to use 0, 0 because it's easy. Let's see. 0, 0. That's going to turn into, let's see, 0. Let's see, what's 2 times 0? And ask yourself, 0 minus 0 is still 0. Is 0 greater than negative 4? Wait a minute. Wait. Yeah. I thought I did something. So is 0 greater than negative 4? Hopefully you said yes. Okay. So because that works, we're going to shade on this side of our line. There you go. Okay. 2 more questions. But now we're going to step it up a notch. Now we're going to do a word problem. Okay? So this should be interesting. I don't like words. I mean, I can do them. I don't like them. They take more effort. Which I'm sure a lot of you. Okay, so you still have to do all of those steps that we've been doing, but now they're adding an extra step where you have to write the inequality. And yes, in case you're asking, you have ones like this in your homework. You have to write the inequality before you can solve it or graph it. Okay? So let's see what we get. It says Dominique can spend up to $20 to provide the dance squad with drinks after their practice. A bottle of water costs 80 cents and a sports drink costs $1.25. How many bottles of water and sports drinks can Dominique buy for it's supposed to be for the dance squad. I don't know why I have 5. That's a typo on mine. I'll try to remember to fix it before I print it for you guys. But there shouldn't be a 5. Alright, so how many bottles of water and sports drinks can Dominique buy for the dance squad? So again, let's start off with that first bit of information. Is that you can spend up to $20. So when it says up to $20, think about it. I can go up to $20. But can you go past $20? Like if I bought enough stuff to spend like $40, is another like magical $20 bill gonna just appear so I can pay for all that? It's not gonna happen. It'd be really nice if it did though, but like, no, not gonna happen. So if we can spend up to $20, that means you can only spend less than $20 or exactly $20. We can't go over it though. But we can spend exactly 20 or less than 20. Those are our options. Okay. Now, the other two, this one's a little bit of your choice. Sorry. Tired. The next one is this next part is a little bit of your choice of which one you want to be what variable. So I just go with whichever one was the first one. Is asking about the water. Water says that it's 80 cents. So that's going to be your 0.80 x plus, see, the water is this much. Then they said sports drinks cost $1.25. So we're gonna put $1.25. Why? There you go. There's your inequality. Okay. So now we have our problem. Now we can do those 4 steps up at the top of your paper that I told you about. Okay. Step 1, we gotta solve that inequality so that the y is on the left side. So good news, it's already on the left side, but we gotta get rid of all this extra stuff. So first thing, we have the 0.8x. I gotta get rid of it somehow. So hopefully you said you should do that by subtracting, because that's right. Okay, so now I need 20 minus 0. Wait. Yeah, 0.8x. We're gonna have that 1.25y is not gonna change. Okay, and then Can you do $20 minus 0.8x? Hopefully you said no, because this has an x, this doesn't have an x. You can't do an x with a no x. It don't work. Don't do it. Okay, so we're just gonna write it. Again, I'm gonna put my x value first just because I'm trying to make it look like mx plus b. Makes it easier. Negative 0.8x, and then that 20, it's a positive 20. We're gonna put plus 20. All right. Next step, now we got to get rid of that 1.25. Okay. So let's see. How do I get rid of that one? Hopefully you said we should do that by dividing. Whoop, whoop. Okay, so we're going to divide this by 1.25, and we're going to divide this by 1.25, and that's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so again, calculators, even if it's just your phone calculator, amazing to use. So let's try it, because I don't know what that is off the top of my head. And again, it's like getting late. So we're going to leave that y there, and we're going to take our inequality. Was the 1.25, was it a positive or a negative? Oh, it's a positive. So do you need to flip your inequality if it's positive? Hopefully you said no. Oh, why did I flip it then if I just said no? Miss Howell, what are we doing here? I told you guys I am. Alright, so now we're gonna try to divide this stuff. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna do it on my phone calculator. I know it's a little bright. See, I need negative 0.8 divided by 1.25. Oh hey, negative 0.64. So negative 0.64x. Okay. And then we need 20 divided by 1.25. Okay, it's actually 16. Really? Yeah, whole number? Oh yeah, fives. We got plus 16. All right, there you go. Now you can graph it. Okay. Now, for this one, obviously for graphing purposes, do I have 16 spaces on that graph? No. But could you count by something other than 1 to make it work? Yeah, you can. Okay, so it's kind of your choice. My only suggestion is that you at least label your graph so that you know what you counted by. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna count by 4s just because counting by 2s there's not room. So let's see, that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. And I like to label on like the opposite. 4. Wait, why did I start at 4? I don't know. Maybe 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Then we have to redo that since I counted by 4s on the top part. Then negative 4, negative 8, negative 12. See, now you know why Miss Howell uses the erasable pen. So when I make mistakes, because you know. Okay. Alright, so now that we have all of our stuff, let's see, we're gonna begin. Okay, we're gonna begin at 16. Remember, we're trying to make this look like y equals mx plus b. Okay. Alright, so we're going to begin at 16. So that's 16 right there. And then it says negative 0.64. So, if you wanted to, to figure out the rest of this graph, if you wanted to, like to figure out another dot that you could put on there, you have that negative 0.64. That's kind of hard to graph. But something else that you can do is you can try to figure out when it zeros by, or you can just take the numbers and plug, like, next number is like, pick 2 and plug it into here. So 2 times negative 0.64, negative 1.28, but then we need to add 16 to it. I say plus 16, so it's 14.7. So at 2, it should be about 14.7. So that's over half. Okay. Try another one. We do 4. The only reason I'm using a calculator to figure this out instead of doing rise or run is because 1, our slope was a decimal, and 2, it's a super small decimal, and I'm counting by 4s here. So I'm trying to make this easy on myself. So for this time, if you want, you can do 5 or you can do 4. It's your choice. Okay. Your graph should look about the same no matter which one you pick. Let's do 0.64 times 5, because why not? 5, and then we add 16, and we get 12.8. 5 should be 4, 8, 12. There-ish. It's right above it, because remember, this is 4 in between it, so this is like 1, 2, 4. Alright, next up, we need to draw a line. Alright, so ask yourself, is there an extra little line right there? Hopefully you said yes. Okay, so we're going to make it a solid line. There you go. Cool, cool. Alright. Now we need to do our shading. Okay, so remember, pick a point and makes this the easiest, right? So remember, I like using 0, 0 because it's super easy. So what's 0 times anything? 0. Plus, what 0 times anything? 0. And 0 plus 0 would be 0. Alright, is 0 less than 20? Hopefully you said yes. So we're going to shade this whole part. Okay. Alright, there you go. Now they want you to do the next one a little bit different. This time, they gave you the graph, but you gotta figure out, what the inequality is. Okay? So, remember for all of these, we're kind of gonna make something that looks like y equals mx plus b, right? That's what we were doing with all the other ones. You're gonna kind of do the exact same thing here. Okay. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Okay, so this one, it's actually kind of like a little bit of a trick question. Okay? You can't really just look at the graph and be like, oh, hey, it starts here and it goes there and boom, there you go. That's your inequality equation. You actually gotta do a little bit of work here. So I'm hoping that Mr. Wing went over this with you already. Otherwise, I'm really sorry. This is a lot of like. Okay, so step one, we need to figure out our slope. Okay, that part shouldn't be that bad. So you're gonna need to find like 2 points that work on that graph. Okay, so we can use like 1, 1. Okay, this time you're gonna pick ones that are on the line because that's how we're gonna find our slope. So we can use like 1, 1, and then another one is like 3, 3 and -4. That's enough. 1, 4. So let's do our slope here. Okay. So remember, to find slope, there's an actual whole little fun equation that you need to know to do this. This is where you have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that's how you find slope of any line. All you need is 2 points and you're just going to subtract them. And here's like a fun fact. Like in the equation, you don't have to do y2 minus y1. You can do y1 minus y2 and look at this. The only part that matters is if you start with the first one first, you got to do the bottom part with the first one first. Okay? That's the rule. Got to put the same, you got to put the numbers from the same coordinate in the same spot. Okay? So just because I like to follow the thingy. So I need -4 minus 1 over 3. So let's see, -4 minus 1 is what, -5, right? Yeah. We have -5 over 2. Yeah. Your slope. Okay, so that's like step one. Now you got to figure out the y-intercept. Okay. So there are a couple of ways you can do this. The book will tell you that you need to do point slope form, which is kind of what I'm going to tell you to do. Or you can just take this and pick one of these points and plug it into here. Okay. It's all about whatever you're the most comfortable. I like just plugging it back into y equals mx plus b. I think that's easier and it's less steps. But if you want to use point slope form, feel free, go ahead. You still gonna get the same thing. So it's just whichever one you are more comfortable. Okay. So when I say I plug it back in, that means I'm gonna take that like y equals mx plus b, and I'm gonna put in all the numbers that I know. Okay. And I'm gonna use 1, 1 just because those are easy numbers. So y was 1. Our m was the -5 over 2. And our x was 1. Right? Okay. The only part we didn't know was b. So let's see. Can't do anything with that one, but you can do -5 over 2 times 1. And -5 over 2 times 1 is just -5 over 2. We get 1 equals -5 over 2 plus b. All right, now you're going to do the opposite. Okay, so if it says -5 over 2, we got to take that, we're going to move it over. Okay, so instead of subtracting or having a -5 over 2, now you're going to do positive or adding 5 over 2. Okay, those are cancel. So in case you're not aware, 1 is the same as 2 over 2. So 2 over 2 plus 5 over 2 is 7 over 2. Woohoo! So that's your b value. So now you can take this b value that you found and this slope that you found, and we can write it in our inequality. Right? So you can put y. We're going to leave a space for the inequality sign because we don't know what it is yet. And then we're going to put -5 over 2x. And you see how it's a 7 halves? Is the 7/2 positive or negative? Hopefully you said positive. So we're just going to put plus 7/2. Now, this is our answer so far. We're not done with it yet, but I'm just kind of outlining it so you can. The last thing that we need is that inequality symbol right here. So there are two things you gotta look for. You gotta look at the line. Is it solid or dashed? That'll tell you if it's got that equal to part on the bottom. Okay, and then you're gonna look at the shading. Okay, so let's see, looking at our line, right? Let's see, it's got a bunch of dashes, which means no equal to. Okay, so it's gonna have to be a less than or a greater than. It's got to be one of those. Now, look at the shading. Is the shading, is it kind of like under the line or above the line? Okay, let's see. Is it above it or is it below it? Hopefully you said below. Okay, so if it's like below the line, which one is below? Is it less than or greater than? Hopefully you said less than. Okay. And again, you can always check your work by you can take this and graph it and see if you get the exact same thing. So let's see. We have 7/2. That's like our y-intercept. 7/2 is what? 3.5? 1, 2, 3.5. There you go. And then it's a negative slope, is going down. So it's going down 5/2. So let's see. It would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1, 2. There you go. Okay, and then the less than is going under it. All right. Okay. All right. So your homework, okay, it's going to be on McGraw-Hill. Pretty much all of your homework assignments for me for this class are going to be on McGraw-Hill, just because that's easiest for me to grade, because I don't have to try to track you down to make sure, did you do those papers? They're on McGraw-Hill. I can just pull it up on my laptop. Okay. Now, what I want you to do with this notes paper, okay, to make sure we don't lose it, right, in your algebra book or algebra notebook, right? These were the notes that we did last class, okay? See how Miss Howell put them in her notebook? I know that we didn't have like a stapler and tape and whatever in the room last time, but I got some for you. You're welcome. Okay, so what you can do is you can take these notes and we're just gonna like fold them in half. Okay, just like this. And you can, it's your choice about what you want to do. If you want to put it on the next page right after that last page of notes. My suggestion is to use the stapler, and you're just gonna like line it up like to the top part so that it opens like this so that you can still read it, and just staple it right here on the side. Okay, or you can put it on the other page like this way. Okay, still do the same thing though. Staple it like right here, or staple it 1, 2 on the two corners and then fold it up. Okay, this way you can open it and look at it later. Okay, there you go. All right, so those are your notes. Have fun. Do your homework. Don't forget.